Welcome to the Finish 'em Fight Sports channel, the channel where we discuss all things fight sports. And this past weekend, I'm a little late to the game, but this past weekend we had UFC 266, Brian Ortega versus Alexander Volkanovski. I did do a previous video where I did 3 predictions of fights on the card. So we had the Nate Diaz versus Robbie Lawler fight, the Valentina versus Lauren Murphy fight, and then we had obviously the main event, Brian Ortega versus Alexander Volkanovski. Oh, just to point out, I accidentally called Brian Ortega T Street instead of T City. That was my bad. I don't know how that got mixed up, but I fucked that up. But we are here for results. Also this weekend, we got to see Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk for the heavyweight championship belt, and that was an interesting result as well. All right. So let's start with the one I was wrong about. I did not expect Nate to look that bad, and he performed well, but he did not look well. He did not look clean. I think post interview or some remarks he made after the fight, he said he wasn't going into this fight very well. He wasn't doing this training camp very well. I figured he was going to lose the fight before the fight happened, but after I recorded my prediction, when we got to see him on the UFC Instagram page shadowboxing for the camera, and he did not look clean at all. He did not. So that was definitely a screw up on my, well, I wouldn't say a screw up, but I totally over expected him to overperform, and he did look aged. He looked out of shape. He didn't look too good. I'll give it to him though. He looked better than what most people were saying he was going to look like. A lot of the times, a lot of people were not giving him the credit that he deserved. So he did look better, but it did not turn out the way I expected. Robbie Lawler, on the other hand, he shut me up. Robbie Lawler shut me up because he looked fantastic going into this fight. He looked in shape. My prediction was that I thought in his head, he's on a 4-fight losing streak. He already lost to Nate once. He's going to go into this fight a little bit more, a little bit, I wouldn't say cautious, but a little bit more concerned about where he would be in terms of this division or just the idea of a loss. He made that into a motivation. He completely blew my expectations out of the water. He looked great. He looked in shape. He looked clean. He looked fantastic. Let's just say he looked absolutely fucking fantastic. And I'm so glad that he was able to get that W off of Nick. And it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I don't think Nick should have been in there after what was going on towards the end, and he just kind of quit. I don't know. Maybe it's not there for him anymore. It's been, I think I mentioned 6 years since he had a fight prior to this one, and then 10 years since he's actually had a victory. So I don't know if the fighting spirit's really in him. Nate is different. Nate's been consistent. He hasn't been winning consistently, but Nate's at least been in the ring. Nick, on the other hand, he's had all those not troubles, but he's been constantly in and out of partying. Again, Robbie Lawler, fantastic win, TKO via ref stoppage. Technically, Nick just didn't want any more fight. He did not want to fight anymore. So what can you say? All right, this one was an easy one. I'm not even happy about this prediction because it was already basically kind of written in stone. It was destiny. Diaz Schevchenko versus Lauren Murphy. Valentina put on a fucking clinic. She absolutely dominated Lauren Murphy. It was ridiculous how much the skill gap is there between her, the champion, and those top 5 girls. I think she's already beaten everybody in that division except for Cavillo. She's already beaten Andrade. She's beaten Chukagian. She just beat Murphy. Those are the top 3 right there. If I'm not mistaken, she's also... Hold on, let me look this up real quick because who else is there? Who else is there for her to fight right now? We really need to build up this division in these women flyweights. So yeah, she's already beat Andrade. She's already beat Chukagian. She has a win over Maya. Like, there's nobody left. There's nobody left for her to fight. I think we need to make the Nunes fight. I think we needed to make the Nunes 3 fight. I know at first Dana White wasn't interested in the Nunes fight, but it's looking like that might be the only choice left for Valentina, unless a strawweight wants to move up. For example, I think Rose Namajunas is going to fight Zhang Weili soon. If Rose wants to move up, I think that could be a good fight. Rose is taller than Valentina. She should be able to make those weights. Zhang Weili loses again. Maybe Zhang Weili considers moving up a weight and fighting at that weight and fighting Valentina. But I don't know. Again, Valentina can also move up. She can also move up. I think the Nunes fight is the most important fight because there's just nothing left for her. She put on a clinic. She dominated her for 4 rounds and then got her out of there in the 4th. Yeah, Lauren Murphy, just no match at all for Valentina Shevchenko. T-City versus the Great Alexander. This was a phenomenal fight. Now, my prediction was that Alexander was going to win this fight via a decision. He was going to outstrike him. That's exactly what happened. Alexander comes from City Kickboxing, bro. His fucking team, they are some of the best strikers on the planet coming out of New Zealand, Australia areas. Again, those areas have a heavy kickboxing influence due to them being so close to Thailand and training with a lot of the Thais, things like that. But again, City Kickboxing, phenomenal striking gym, great at defense, clearly on the ground. I did say if Brian was going to win this, he needed to take it to the ground and bring it to his world. And all the times he was close, he almost had the win. Every time he did do that, he almost had the win. So, I don't know. I didn't like that Brian didn't try to pressure the ground game enough in the beginning. Obviously, you get tired as the fight goes on. You're less likely to get a submission as the fight goes on. You're sweating. You're tired. There's a ton of factors that go into the grappling game. So the fact that Brian did not pressure the ground game early really turned me off to not turned me off to the fight as a whole, but really kind of just like, come on, Brian, you know you're not going to outstrike Alexander Volkanovski, who has equal striking ability as Max Holloway. You're not going to outstrike him, so you need to bring him to your world. You need to. And he did make a few attempts again, Alexander's a well-rounded fighter, so the fact that he was able to get out of the fucking guillotine and the triangle, which were deep. Well, I think the guillotine was much deeper, but that was phenomenal. Fantastic fight. Again, none of them lost really any leeway. It's not like this is a bad loss for Brian. This is actually a really beautiful loss. If anything, it's reminiscent of the loss to Max Holloway. He didn't lose any type of credibility. I still want to see this. I want to see it part 2. I want to see it again. I want to see this fucking fight again. So again, Alexander put on a phenomenal performance. So nothing negative to say. This was a fantastic event. Worth it all the way. Major twist, plot twist in the fighting world community, or in the combat sports community. Anthony Joshua losing to Alexander Usyk. I watched this fight. I was late to it. I didn't get to see the first 3 rounds because I always get the UK time mixed up with the American time. So it was actually starting earlier than what I had thought. But I did get to see the whole fight. My criticism to Anthony Joshua was that it felt as though very similar, if not reminiscent of the Andy Ruiz fight. Andy seemed fatigued as the fight went on. Now, I'm not going to take that away from Usyk. Usyk put on a clinic. He fucking dominated Anthony Joshua in the boxing department, which I was like, Anthony Joshua was talking shit like, I'm just going to outbox him. I'm going to outbox him. Usyk came and outboxed him. He outboxed him. And, when you take a hit, you get more fatigue. The more you get hit, the more fatigue you get. So when Anthony he looks tired midway through the fight, I'm like, I'm seeing Usyk take this now. I did have Anthony winning the beginning, but then Usyk just took all the rounds after that. He just dominated. And now Usyk threw a wrench in the heavyweight division. That's wild. Everybody thought that it could have been anyone else. No, actually, no one thought it would have happened. I don't think anybody would have thought it would have happened. People were just waiting for who would be the next fight for Anthony Joshua. Would it be Wilder or will it be Fury? And it doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't matter, at least for Undisputed. It still matters in terms of legacy and fighting. That's true. But in terms of we're going to get the Undisputed champion. Who's going to face Anthony Joshua, who holds 3 of those belts? That's not the case anymore right now. That's not the case. So, yep, Usyk is now the IBF, WBA, and WBO, and I think he's the lineal champion, because the Ring Magazine champion is Tyson Fury, along with the WBC champion. I could be wrong about that. These fucking belts in the boxing division sometimes get me all mixed up and shit. So I might have to correct myself. But as of right now, in terms of Undisputed, Anthony Joshua is no longer in the running for Undisputed unless he can get the rematch, which I'm hearing rumors about. It's not confirmed. Obviously, nothing's confirmed. Those guys need to go rest and do their thing, but I am hearing rumors about it. But I think it's wild. Yep, so now we have to wait for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, October 9th. I will be doing a breakdown for that one. As for this weekend, I will be doing a breakdown of Douglas Lima versus Michael Venom Page, which will be happening on Friday, October 1st. So I will be doing a breakdown, trying to get it out Thursday before the fight happens and stuff like that, but I will be talking about that fight exactly. But yeah, guys, this was a great weekend for UFC 266. Fucking phenomenal. Worth every penny. I may come back to it. Dan Hooker did take a W. I may come back to it, talk about some of the other talk about some of the other fights that did happen on that card, anything that was of interest, but we can come back to that another time. I just wanted to talk about the results of the fights I did predict. But yeah, those are the results, guys. Remember, follow us on TikTok and on Twitter. We use both of these to react to instant fights. Like, subscribe, share, obviously. Share with your friends. Let us know. Yeah, guys, we will see you guys on the very next one. Thank you for being here for the results.